Okay, let's put them in shield wall. Oh, ooh, he's dead. Wow, that was... He got shot in the foot. Hello and welcome back to our Duelist adventures, and we're going to be voting on a little declaration of war to begin with. And now, just bear in mind that obviously this is, I think, quite a good thing for us to do, because usually I will not be that enthusiastic about declaring war against pretty much anyone, because usually the friendly faction is going to be declaring war against someone that is much, much stronger than they are, and they're going to do that thing where they just go, we're AI, we don't understand. But yeah, this is a good action to take, in my opinion. I'm going to be spending 10 influence. I don't think I'm going to spend anything more than that. I think it's a bit too much if I were to spend 40 on the vote itself, rather than spending that on actually getting an army together to do whatever we want to do. Now, the main reason why I'm starting the episode here is because of this guy. I ran into him and I thought to myself, okay, seems like a good battle to begin on, because obviously we're still in the process of, well, shall we just say, rebuilding our power base. And now that we have a garrison, I didn't even realize that we had one in the previous episode. I mean, until, I did realize, obviously, but before, when we were doing the episode where I was actually defeated, we didn't realize, or at least I didn't realize, that there were garrison potentials available. So that is a game changer right there. Anytime the player has access to a place where he can place a bunch of units in to safeguard them or to potentially level them up in some way, because I think sometimes they do tend to level up. It really depends on which kind of unit you place in there, of course, but I digress. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, anytime you get a really, really high tier unit or a huge amount of high tier units and you think you're going to be doing some kind of risky action, it is always a good idea to go to your garrison and just place those guys in there. Because if the worst were to happen, like it did, you know, those few episodes ago, then you have a bit of a safeguard to fall back on. Obviously, I had no garrison at that time, so I was kind of unprepared for that. But thankfully, now that we've realized that we do have one, we should be able to do pretty nicely here. And here's the thing, I'm now not entirely sure how I'm going to deal with the whole vassalage problem, because obviously, beforehand we were a mercenary, and it was very easy for us to leave and join factions, because, again, being a mercenary is a very temporary thing, and that happens with the AI as well. The AI generally tends to be very flighty. They just go from faction to faction, and vassals are much more permanent. So it is going to be interesting to see how I deal with that, because I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to right now. What I do know is that I'm going to absolutely smack some of these guys around as much as I possibly can. Look at how fast Bruce is right now. Look at him. Oh, never mind. Apparently he's not fast enough to catch up to that one guy. I'm going to switch to my sword, though, because I feel like my sword is probably going to have a better chance at hitting these guys from range, because the mace, you do need to be quite close. You need to get really, really close up to them to be able to hit them with that. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, mercenaries are much more temporary, and they can indeed leave and join factions with little to no penalty. However, vassals will sustain, at least in my opinion, I think they will. They'll sustain quite a bit of relation decreases as a result of leaving a kingdom. So that's the difference. I think I saw a couple of comments saying that I've left a number of factions beforehand because I was berating some AI vassal from doing that. But that's the point, you know. It's a vassal going to another faction, so obviously they're a defector in that case, but a mercenary will just go wherever the money is, you know, that's what they do. Anyway, 7.4 renown, 6 influence, not too bad, 3.6 morale, that is always good, and I am not going to be taking him prisoner either, even though his charm is, as I thought, not going to be really paying us any dividends whatsoever, but that is not really a big deal, because he had a bunch of rescue troops as well, which I very much appreciate taking, and these trained youths, they're not actually going to level up into anything really good, so I'm not going to take them. Same thing with the town guards and the town marksmen, but I am going to be taking these. You may think, why are you not taking the tier 3 units? Well, that's the point. They are bodies. They do give us bodies on the battlefield, but they're not going to really give us anything else. They're not going to level up into anything great. I could put them in the garrison, though. Thank you. I think some of you have sent out mind waves to me just then, because I literally just thought to myself, garrison. Yes. Perfect. Alright, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put them in the garrison. That sounds like a good plan. And we'll take all the prisoners as well, because there are a couple of Imperial units in there that I wouldn't mind trying to persuade to join us. And I can put the rest either in the prisoners' hold in the garrison itself, or I can just go and sell them wherever. You know. We have the option. We have the option. Anyway, I've actually been looking for some pretty cheap horses. Obviously, looking around here is not really going to be the most lucrative action to take, because let's face it, going down to Askar in Aserai territory is probably going to be the best idea. But obviously, now that we've declared war against them, yeah, it's not going to really work. So I'm going to have to buy a couple of horses over here instead. And as you can see, I'm increasing... Yeah, we've increased the size of our army now, so it's actually not making that much difference. But as you can see, we've increased our speed a little bit. I do have a lot of money, so I don't actually feel like I need to be too, shall we say, too, you know, spendthrifty, I guess you could call it. You know, too cheap, if you want to be simple. But yeah, that's what I mean. You can pretty much just spend whatever you want as long as you have this much. I mean, we don't even have that much, to be honest. I mean, like, in comparison to Monchug, for example, you know, he's going to be having insane cash right now. Absolutely insane cash, which is always a huge bugbear for me. I'm not a big fan of him in general, because he generally tends to be very uppity. You know, he's always up in my face, you know, being like, look at me, I have an army of 1,000, and I'm going to crush you and all of your friends. And that's generally what he tends to do quite often, which is very irritating, to say the least. But, well, that's the thing. Next time we get him, you know, I'm thinking we'll probably put him in, what? Are you serious? Bannerlord got captured? Wait a minute, wait a minute. Did I read that message right? Wait, is she in the... I thought I made her the governor of this. There's Najun. Well, he's just chilling. I actually really like the interior environments, by the way. I feel like there's not enough... not enough chances, really, to get into the interiors of these places, because... do you remember in any of my series, if you've seen multiple series of mine of Bannerlord, do you remember me ever going inside to a certain area? I mean, yeah, you know, I've been into the tavern and things, but look at this, they went to the trouble of literally making a bed, 4-poster bed, with a bedroom and everything. I feel like this could be slightly bigger, but obviously that's just me. But, you know, point is, they went to the trouble of making this whole thing, and a staircase that leads up even further into the castle halls. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go out onto the castle walls right here, which obviously is completely understandable, but they went to all this trouble to model all of this, and then there's no real reason to go inside, you know? It's a shame. It's a huge shame. So, I think there definitely needs to be something done about that. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, Bannerlord is actually here. She is the governor. Isn't she actually here? I'm actually not sure now. Now I'm a little bit perplexed, potentially. But, yeah, anyway. We're going to go over here, because this is also my village. I'm trying to make sure that our villages are not raided, because even though they're not really giving us anything too... Okay, anything too dramatic. I'm not entirely sure what this task is. Needs help with forest bandits? Right. 5 groups of outlaws. Okay, I'll hunt down 5 groups of outlaws for you. I'm not entirely sure if I really want to do this, but I guess we will. Because that's the thing. Oh, they don't really care whether they are looters or not, by the looks of things. Alright. Well, that's fine with me then. Hello. We're just going to literally do auto-resolve because, I mean, why wouldn't you, you know? Auto-resolving is much, much quicker and easier, and it does give our units... Yeah, oh, look at that. They actually give you a live update now, because it used to be that you had to check the quest to be able to see that. So that's very nice. Oh, this is actually fantastic. As you can see, they're actually all coming here. Wait a minute. Oh, phew. I almost made a mistake by selecting a different option than I actually wanted. But yeah, anyway, that is really cool how they're making all of these guys come over here. This is a nice early game quest. Definitely. Okay, yeah, you think I'm daft? I'm not trusting you an inch. Oh, they just literally gave up. They literally just gave up, and they gave me some money, and we were able to take them prisoner. That is actually quite cool, because it did give me the credit for the quest as well. I was actually hoping on gaining the bandit hideout quest, because that's right over there. As you can see, we actually have 115 in our party now. Can you believe it? Just, you know, just like a couple of real-life hours spent in the game ago, we were, you know, downtrodden and basically running around with pretty much no one. But now, oh yes, now look at us. We are running around with some decent stuff. Yeah, I like it, I like it. Alright, so these looters, they're definitely going to be placed in the garrison. Alright, so let's just make my way over there real quick. Oh no, never mind. Apparently there are some more looters that are coming up. It's actually quite shocking how much experience you're able to gain just from auto-resolves. And I know that seems a bit weird to say because obviously, you know, auto-resolve is the best way of leveling up units, but I wouldn't have expected it to be this good, you know? I don't have any mods installed, you know? No mods installed that change my experience or anything like that. Used to have Bannerlord tweaks that used to help me out in that regard, you know? But now, no, I don't have any of those things. So I think maybe the developers might have tweaked the experience gain a little bit. Obviously not for the characters just yet, because my character, while he's able to move very, very quickly on the battlefield, he is still very much, shall we say, not going to pretty much ever get to the higher ranks of his skill trees. I just don't think that that's going to be possible. I'm going to take these caravan guards and the veteran caravan guards because I feel like having some more cavalry would probably be quite advantageous for us. We do have some more Imperial recruits as well, but I can get those from elsewhere. And how much time do I have left? Oh, 17 days. Wow, that's actually super, super easy. And I'm going to be going over to Chinopsis itself, the village, in just a second, once I'm able to complete another one of these looter fights. Alright, there we go. We completed the task. Just another band of looters, 26 of them auto-resolved against, and we gained about 1,300 gold and a little bit of relation with the guy as well, which is obviously what I primarily wanted to do. Anyway, these guys are primarily going to be put into the prisoner's hold here. I will be keeping the Empire peasants, Imperial archers. I'll put the saplings and sprouts in there as well, even though these guys actually do level up into some good units. I don't have Veterans Respect just yet, but hopefully I will be able to get it quite soon, because once I get that, I will be able to level up all of those units into some really, really good ones. And I will look forward to that to no end. Anyway, let's continue to get some additional archers here. I feel like my archer contingents are really not very good right now, so I probably need to do something about it. Let's get righteous citizens out of these guys, because righteous citizens do level up into sheriffs eventually, and they are very, very nice, especially for taking prisoners. Additional prisoners are always welcome, of course. Anyway, we're going to go over to Chinopsis. Oh, Botanian deserters. Hello there. There's only 11 of you, but you do have some prisoners, and I might like to... Ooh, yeah. Hello. Wait. I think they actually have some pretty... Oh, no, this guy's joining. Yes. Okay. Phew. I do actually get the opportunity to take all of these Wrath units and the cultists and so on and so forth. This is the main reason why I actually headed in here, because I thought to myself, yes, I do want to have these, especially these Wrath Doombringers. Just look at them. They're crazy. They're crazy, crazy good. And I'm going to be taking all of them, actually. So I'm just going to rescue all of those troops. They seem super fun. And that brings me to the next point. I would love Calradia at War, the mod, to add a way for us to recruit those units more regularly. And I'm talking about just, you know, maybe add a building or something like that. Maybe add a structure or something that you need to build over a month in-game or 2 months in-game, and then it will allow you to automatically recruit some units every single week or every couple of days or something like that from your chosen minor faction. So whether you want cultists, whether you want, I don't know, anyone, basically anyone would be really, really nice. That would be quite fun. Alright, so I could technically get this guy access to the commons, but I have to go to my other village and make them unhappy, and I don't really want to do that. So we are now going to be making our way down to Aserai territory. I feel like my army is probably pretty good right now, and I should theoretically be... yeah, I don't know. I should be okay. I should be okay to hold my own in most situations, except those that are obviously, you know, very large army battles, you know, army versus army battles. Those are going to still be a little bit too risky, and unless we have an overwhelming advantage, that's just how it's going to be. Unfortunate, but you know, what can you do? Anyway, I'm going to take some desert horses right here because I'd like to try and increase my speed by a significant amount. I also would like to purchase some food because food is very important. We want to make sure we don't run out of food as we are on the campaign trail. Going to spend 12,000 there, but again, it's kind of like pocket change right now. I'm not really going to be doing too much with money as it is anymore. I don't have any workshops up and running either because they were all destroyed, and I feel like with my current strategy, which is indeed going to be that I'll leave the Southern Empire eventually and create my own faction, it is not very likely that the workshops are going to stick around for that long. So investing 15,000 is just a waste at this point, at least in my opinion. Anyway, let's take a look. Oh, okay, hello. Yeah, this guy's got 29 Desert Immortals. Yeah, so Desert Immortals, as you may or may not know, they are very good. And they are the highest tier of archer that he has available. 245 in bow skill. So, I'd like to... Wait a minute. Is that guy actually thinking about going in there? Oh, I think he was, but now he wasn't anymore. I should have helped him. I should have gone over there a little bit quicker. Razzie has been taken. Okay. Let me head over there. Masui is doing some good work. Well, I actually don't want her to do good work, to be honest. I feel like her doing good work means that we're going to be in even more trouble as time goes on, because the Khuzait are obviously already very, very strong. Anyway, Gifor is apparently going to be the owner of Razzie, which is absolutely fine. I will spend 20 to get a little bit of charm skill. As you can see, charm skill is really, really good from these things. You can see here I gained 1600 just from spending 20 influence points. So it's basically like spending 20 influence to level yourself up a little bit. And I think that's quite cool. I like that. So yeah, I personally very much appreciate having this mod that tells me what I'm actually gaining when, because then it gives me more insight as to what I can do better next time. You know what I mean? Really makes a huge difference. Anyway, I'm going to go into the trade screen here because I would like to maybe just sell a couple of things and just kind of lighten the load a little bit, because as you can see, I do have cargo within capacity, a little bit of a deficit there. So we'll just sell the remaining things there, 12,000. Now, I'm hoping that we're going to run across a couple of vassals that might actually be coming over to try and intercept some of our armies. As you can see, there's actually an army right there. We might be able to tackle that. I mean, not the army itself, obviously, but hopefully after the siege has been perpetrated, we might be able to pounce upon them, or indeed intercept. As you can see right here, there's actually a little army coming over. Yeah, this is kind of uncomfortable now, isn't it? Yes, okay, so let's just level these guys up real quick, because we are no doubt going to be getting into a battle. in just a second. I'm going to go for Wrath Lurkers. I think they seem pretty fun. Let's go for some more Imperial Recruits as well. Alright, so yeah, that's 60. I would have loved to have fought, but unfortunately the army is way too close. I might be able to still intercept. They're moving at 4.8. I'm moving at 5.5, which is just enormous, the speed bonus that we have. Seems like Sanion's army might actually be engaging that very large battle as well, which would enable us to join a big army versus army situation, which I'm looking forward to. Don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to it, but we need to be careful from now on. We need to be careful about what battles we decide to take and when. Timing is actually very important, which is kind of strange considering you wouldn't think that. You'd think overwhelming power is the most important thing. Well, yeah, I guess generally overwhelming power is kind of the most important, but the point is timing does help a great deal in deciding whether you need to go in or whether you want to go in or whether you have to go in at that particular point, because it determines whether there's a nearby army that is going to join the battle or not. And as the case may be, the only reason why we were actually defeated before is because of the return to siege button that I neglected to press. I actually saw it in the editing, and I neglected to press it beforehand, and I decided to use the time controls of the game before pressing that button. And that enabled our opponent to close the gap long enough so that when I clicked on the return to siege button, it automatically started the action again, and as a result it made things very uncomfortable. So uncomfortable, in fact, that we got ourselves into a battle situation, which we wouldn't have had to. We wouldn't have had to do that, actually. We would have only needed to go into the siege, succeed at that siege, hopefully, cross fingers, and then move on from there. That's pretty much what my plan was, but my timing and my decision making was slightly off, and that was the reason why we succumbed to their army, even though I personally feel like we should have won that, but oh well, never mind. Sometimes it happens. Okay, come on, let's do this. I have my mace at the ready. Get him. Ah, no. Okay, I'm actually distracting these guys quite nicely, considering I have a huge amount of speed from athletics. I should have an easy time staying away from these enemies. Oh, nice. And doing some good damage in the process. This guy's gonna die. There we go. Let's try and get a couple of extras. Now, it seems like we're fine, and the enemy is done. Yeah, I was actually treating that like a very, very hard enemy, and that's actually something that maybe is a pretty decent tip as well. I'm obviously not really someone that does that often, but in general, you should treat, maybe you should treat every single enemy as the hardest enemy that you've ever fought. And that may seem like a bit of a strange thing to do, because obviously, you know, some of them are not that, you know, of course. But if you think about it, treating them like that does actually make you potentially more efficient in dealing with your units in that particular combat scenario. Because, of course, then you're going to be very careful about which units you send in, when you charge, when you don't charge, and so on and so forth. So it really makes a huge difference. Sanion's actually running, so we're not going to be doing anything with him at the moment, unfortunately. It would have actually been pretty cool to go into a large fight. But exciting news, everyone. Yes, we have 125 in athletics now, so I should be able to spend something good here. Right. Well, this is pretty much the only thing I really want to get. Increases your speed damage. Speed? Come on now. Speed. Okay, yes, no. It's not speed. It is speed damage bonus. You see? It's the two. It's the two words melding into one. You know, it's mind melding with each other. There's a Vulcan around here somewhere, apparently. Anyway, we're going to be taking Surging Blow because I personally feel like this is absolutely useless. 50% decrease in charge damage. I mean, how much charge damage do people really do? As far as I'm aware, usually charge damage is about 2 or 3 HP. And I suppose it could add up over time if you're against someone like the Khuzait, but personally, I'd like to do more damage, so we're going to be taking Surging Blow instead, and I'm actually going to be taking a little bit extra in Charm Skill as well with my focus points. Feel like Charm Skill could use a little bit of a boost. And there we go. Oh, and I'm blind. Okay, whew. I am blind. Okay, yeah, that's not very nice. That is not very nice at all. Yeah, I'm playing in a slightly darkened room right now, so obviously... brightness. The brightness. Ah, yes. It's actually quite accurate. Let's face it. It's actually quite accurate because if you were literally out here in reality, the sand does have a slightly reflective quality. So, you know, it would potentially cause these kinds of effects to happen. But, yeah. Yeah, well, anyway. Let's just make sure that we get our people into decent positions and go for a nice shield wall here. Actually, you know what? I'm actually not going to go for shield wall right now. I do have a skill that increases my effectiveness or my unit's effectiveness while in a shield wall, but I don't really want to put them in a shield wall right now because they're going to move super slowly across the battlefield, and then the archers are going to get get ahead of them, and it's going to be just a whole mess. So, I'm hopeful that they will get into a nice position beforehand. Who's that guy on a horse? Is that... Oh, that's a Maldulf. I haven't done anything with his tag. Well, that's not very good, is it? Okay, let's put them in shield wall. Oh, ooh, he's dead. Wow, that was... He got shot in the foot. He died from a foot injury. That is embarrassing. That's the kind of thing that would happen to me. It really is. That is hilarious. Okay, I had no idea that people could actually die from that. I mean, not in real life, obviously, but I mean, I'm talking about in the game because, obviously, generally, a foot, like an arrow in the foot or a bolt or something like that, it's not really going to do that much, dependent on where you hit, of course. But in the foot, I wouldn't have expected a one-shot kill from a javelin in the foot, to be honest. But apparently that is possible. Apparently that is possible. Yeah, but otherwise, we're gonna just do our thing. Come on, Bruce, let's do this. Ooh, I almost got lanced in the face there. That would have been uncomfortable. After I mocked that guy for getting killed like Achilles. I mean, technically, it's not in his heel, but almost, you know, almost. Oh, ooh, did I just block that? Oh, did I just block that again? Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, who would have thought it? Yeah, that would have been some pretty, maybe significant damage. Okay, let's try and get him. Ah, no. Oh, is he gonna run? I actually thought he was gonna run there for a second. He has made a grievous error. He has made an absolutely grievous error. This is bad for him. Very good for us, as you can see. He has literally signed his own death warrant right there by not getting out of the battle when he had the opportunity. Okay, come on now, Bruce. Let's do it. Catch up to him. Yeah, there we go. That's what we get. All right, very nice. Good amount of experience. As you can see, the experience gain that I need now to get to the next level is significant. I need 121,000. Wow, that is a lot. Anyway, this guy is obviously part of a minor faction, so we're not going to get a huge amount of charm skill for that, unfortunately. Kind of wondering whether I should even have these prisoners in my prisoners hold right now, because these are mostly Aserai prisoners, of course. And I'm not really rescuing anyone, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe I won't take them anymore, because as you can see, they're actually reducing my speed by a pretty decent factor. And I'm not a big fan of that. So you know what? I'm actually only going to be taking tier 3 units and above, or units that I want to recruit. And these guys, as we're currently at war against the Aserai, I don't want Aserai units in my army. I will be taking Aserai units later on when the Aserai have been eliminated or when we have made peace with them. I will definitely do that. But as it stands right now, don't really want to do that. So I'll take tier 3 units and above. And that's pretty much it. Just to kind of save on the speed deficit that we're currently suffering from. And you can see here that we cut it in half actually, which is pretty good. So happy with that. And otherwise, let's move on and see what the armies are doing, because I'd love to partake in a big fight. I feel like that would be a lot of fun, but it really depends on if we can actually make it happen. No, seems like it probably won't. I've got to be very careful here. These guys might decide to turn towards us right now. Sanion actually made it away? How did that even happen? He's leading a much larger army than Mara, for example, and Mara could have definitely caught up to him and then brought the other army into the battle? That is some very strange stuff right there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with it, but okay. Alright, so anyway, let's just level up all of these and then we'll see what else we can do. I would like to be able to indeed fight some stronger units, but then again, maybe I'm asking for too much. But this is exactly what I mean about getting back on your feet. Don't know whether you've noticed, but my army seems just that little bit stronger than it used to be in its previous iteration. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is. It's probably because I'm not focusing on archers as much, potentially. Oh, hello there. Seems like I may have gotten my wish. Much stronger army. Let's do this. Alright, here we go. The combat strength is actually quite even, as you can see. So this is... Ooh, okay. Let's do it. This is going to be interesting because this is something that I'll actually need to concentrate and use tactics properly here, because generally I'm doing the standard fare of putting people in shield wall, having the infantry hold position in front and having the archers behind. I mean, that's obviously the standard maneuver that I tend to use almost all the time. But this time I'm going to have to be a little bit more active in what I'm trying to do here, like use flanks with the cavalry and so on. Unless the enemy cavalry charges in and takes me out immediately, and then auto-delegation will take over. Let's run! Ah! Whoa. Did I really just take... What? How did I not die there? I took a lot of damage. I mean, generally, it looked like I was taking a lot of damage, but it said absorbed damage. So I assume the armor that I have is really making a huge difference on that. Okay, let me see if I can maybe charge after this guy a little bit. No. What about this one? No. Okay, just go, guys. Just go. Okay, we're going to need to charge these fellows. My archers are in a bad position right now, but the enemy has mostly recruits. I don't know whether you've noticed that. That guy's trying to get us. It's okay though. It's okay. We're winning. We are indeed winning, because I have just gone on an absolute killing spree right there. But that was much more costly than I anticipated. I actually thought that the enemy was not going to be charging at us, but they really did. I don't know. I don't know why they would have done that, to be honest. I feel like it probably would have been more advantageous for them to utilize their cavalry in a different way, because they had significant numbers in that unit category, and it would have made much more sense for them to kind of hold back. As you can see, literally, look at that. It may look like I've lost a lot of units, but in actual fact, I've only lost 8. Yeah, I've only lost 8, which is really not that much at all. And look at this. My rewards are pretty significant. And because of that leadership perk, we just gained an extra 3.1 renown, because we're getting an additional 20% in every single situation. So we're going to let this guy go once again. Unfortunately, he is a minor vassal, so he won't be giving us anything spectacular. But still, you know, it's all good. And we're just going to be taking all of the tier 4s. I think I'm probably just going to leave the rest, because I'm starting to get to sort of maximum here, and I don't really want to slow myself down so significantly. And then we're just going to be taking all of the loot. Just want to make sure I'm not missing out on anything either, because there may very well be something that is a bit of an upgrade. But now I'm going to have to head over to the nearby town, which is now a friendly stronghold, which is actually very nice. And it looks as though we might indeed be fighting back against the Aserai, which is looking very nice indeed. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.